There is one signature the whole 2027 grid is waiting on, and it does not belong to Carlos Sainz. It belongs to Max Verstappen. Until he decides, 14 drivers are stuck in a holding pattern, a 4-time race winner included. And this week, Sainz stops waiting. Spanish media says his deal for next season is in its final stage, days from an announcement. Not the move everyone had him making, the one nobody wanted to admit was coming. So how does the most wanted free agent of the summer end up with exactly one door open? Start with the graphic. Formula One posts its 2027 grid this week, and only 8 of the 22 seats carry a name. 8. Norris and Piastri locked at McLaren, Leclerc and Hamilton at Ferrari. Gasly tied to Alpine through 2028. Perez and Bottas signed at Cadillac. That is the whole list. Everyone else is racing for a seat that does not officially exist yet. Mercedes have not put an end date on Russell or Antonelli. Red Bull have Verstappen on paper, but a clause that could tear the page up. Aston Martin have signed nobody at all. Williams, Racing Bulls, Haas, the second Alpine, the second Audi, all blank. 14 of the best drivers on earth, and not one of them can tell you where they are racing in 18 months. And even the 8 names that are locked are not as settled as the graphic makes them look. The Mercedes deals are believed to run several years, but with triggers buried inside them, options either side can pull depending on what one rival does. That is how carefully the whole grid is watching a single garage. The confirmed seats have escape hatches. The unconfirmed ones have nothing but a waiting game. And here is the part the graphic does not show. Almost none of those 14 can move until the driver at the top of the sport tells everyone what he is doing. That is the loop the whole market is trapped in. And it is the reason a man with 4 Grand Prix wins is about to put his name on a contract with a team going backwards. The obvious escape was always Audi. The German brand arrives in Formula One this season, and Sainz has history there. His father won Dakar for Audi in 2024. The paddock spent a full year assuming the son would one day follow the name to the factory team. So when Williams started sliding this year, that hunch hardened into a sure thing. Sainz to Audi felt less like a rumor and more like a matter of time. Then Audi shut the door and did it without raising its voice. Mattia Binotto runs the project, and his answer to the Sainz noise is almost cruel in how calm it is. He calls the interest flattering, says it only proves the project is being taken more seriously. And then, in the same breath, he confirms the 2027 lineup stays exactly where it is. Nico Hülkenberg alongside Gabriel Bortoleto, experience next to youth, no opening, and no plans to make one. And there is a bitter edge to this for Sainz in particular. Audi wanted him once. Back when he left Ferrari at the end of 2024, the German project chased him hard and reportedly offered more money than Williams did. He looked at both and decided Williams had the brighter future. 2 years later, that call looks like the wrong one. And the team he turned down is now the team turning him away. Binotto barely has to say it. The fresh interest in his telling just proves Audi were right about themselves all along. And there is a reason he wants things steady. Audi's first season has been chaos in places. The team principal walked out just 2 races in. They sit 8th in the constructors' standings, which for a first year is really encouraging. And a lot of that push runs through Bortoleto, the rookie who has done better than anyone expected of him. Binotto is not about to break up the one thing working to chase a name. Here is the detail that slipped through the cracks. There actually was a way in. Reports had the Sainz camp looking at a swap, Audi paying Hülkenberg a fee to step aside and free the cockpit. It was messy, it was expensive, but it was a route. This week, those talks are confirmed over. Several sources say the pairing does not change. Bortoleto's contract already runs through 2027, and Binotto keeps calling that rookie and veteran pairing the right one. So the one move that really made sense, the one with the family ties and the rising project and the open story, is gone. Not stalled. Not for next year. Gone. And that leaves staying, which is its own kind of problem. Williams came into 2026, sure the regulation reset was their window to climb the grid. Instead, the car turns up overweight. The promised step forward never arrives. And 11 races in the team sits 9th with 11 points on the board. Sainz has scored 6 of them himself. This is a team that finished 5th last season, now scoring at a fraction of that rate. It is not a slow start he can wait out. This is the exact reason he spent his whole summer break hunting for an exit in the first place. Remember what this driver walked away from. Renault, McLaren, then 5 seasons at Ferrari, race wins, podiums, the front of the grid. He left all of it for Williams on a bet that the reset would make them fast. Right now, that bet has him in the 9th quickest car, and his teammate Albon is out of contract too, which tells you the team is fighting to hold its whole driver lineup together, not build from strength. Up to this point, the story reads like a driver simply choosing loyalty. It is not that simple, and the shape of the deal proves it. Because what is on the table is not a normal renewal. It is 1 year, just 2027. And that single number is the whole story hiding in plain sight. A 4-time winner does not sign a single season out of love for a team in 9th. He signs 1 year because a longer deal would lock him in, and a short deal keeps a hand on the door handle. The reporting out of Spain puts it plainly. The talks are about the terms, not the team, and the contract is being built with the kind of clauses that keep a driver's options wide open the second something better appears. The headline you have already seen, Sainz commits to Williams, is technically true and almost totally misleading. He is not committing to anything. He is parking, and the timing of why 1 year works is almost too neat. The top 4 teams are full. Audi is full. He physically cannot walk into a better car for next season because there is not one available to walk into. So he takes the shortest deal on offer, keeps a competitive seat warm, and drops himself back onto the market in 12 months, which is exactly when the dam is most likely to break. It is a smart play. It is also a quietly grim one for a driver who once raced for wins. The best years of a Formula One career are short, and Sainz is spending one of them running defense, signing the smallest possible deal to a car that cannot fight, just to stay in the room. That is what a frozen grid does. It does not just trap the drivers without seats, it shrinks the dreams of the ones who have them. While Sainz parks, the rest of the grid is quietly stacking up behind the same jammed door. Start with the man holding the key. Verstappen is contracted to Red Bull through 2028, but the deal carries a performance exit trigger, and he has made his terms brutally clear. Give him a car that can fight for the title, or he is willing to walk away from the sport for good. He hit the summer break 6th in the standings, with 109 points, nowhere near the front, exactly the kind of season that keeps that clause alive. With no front-running seat open anywhere else on the grid, the expectation now is that he grits his teeth and stays 1 more year, with Ishak Hadjar keeping the second seat. But an expectation is not a signature, and until it becomes one, not a single driver below him can actually plan their future. Look at Racing Bulls. Liam Lawson is putting together the best season of his career, and it still might not be enough to save him. Red Bull's junior program is pushing Nikola Tsolov, the Formula 2 championship leader, straight at that seat, and the Bulgarian has been running away with the title all year. Lawson expects the conversation about his own future to land during this break, and the read across the paddock is blunt. If Verstappen stays put, Lawson becomes the driver most likely to be squeezed out, which is exactly why Williams is already circling him as a fallback for the very seat Sainz is sitting on right now. Look at Alpine. Franco Colapinto's future is on hold, his deal for next year unconfirmed, the team openly wanting to see more from him after a rookie campaign that has brought 19 points and 1 strong 6th place in Canada. At the same time, Enstone is speeding up talks to bring Fernando Alonso back to the team he started with. If Alonso says yes, Colapinto suddenly needs a seat of his own. And the obvious one is the Williams seat that only opens the day Sainz walks. Every door in this paddock, it turns out, opens into the same narrow corridor. And that same Alonso decision reaches further still. Aston Martin have not signed a single driver for 2027. Lance Stroll, the owner's son, is going nowhere. But the other seat depends entirely on whether Alonso stays, leaves, or retires. If he heads back to Alpine, Aston have an opening to fill in a season where every experienced free agent is already spoken for. Down at Haas, both seats run out at the end of this year too, with a junior queue behind them waiting for a chance. None of these teams can commit until the driver above them commits first. That is the machine. One driver at the very top freezes 4 teams beneath him, and those 4 freeze the ones below them. By some counts, at least 7 seats could change hands for 2027, the busiest the market has been since 2019, and almost all of it is jammed behind one page that has not been signed. A graphic with 8 names on it is really a graphic about one decision nobody has made yet, which brings all of it back to this week, and to Grove. Spanish media reports the Williams renewal is deep in its closing stages, with Sainz and his camp focused on Grove and nobody else, and the timing is no accident. The team wants this announced before the cars roll into Zandvoort, before Sainz has to sit in front of the cameras on media day and field a question he has no clean answer to. That puts the window from early next week onward, quite possibly before you have even finished watching this. And there is a catch. If the deal is not fully closed by the time the paddock arrives, he spends his first session back after the break being asked about it anyway, which is the exact thing both sides are racing to avoid. And there is a strange weight to the place, because this is the final Dutch Grand Prix, the last time the grid ever races here. And the market wants Sainz settled before the sport says goodbye to the track. The terms tell you everything you need to know. A raise on his reported 13 million euros, yes, but not the 30 million figure that has been floating around since June. That number was never real. It came from a separate report and never stood up. And it matters that it vanished, because 30 million would have put Sainz above Alonso, above Russell, level with Leclerc. The pay of a driver a top team is fighting to keep. The real deal is nothing like that. It is smaller and shorter, and built entirely around one idea, one season. Stay competitive enough on paper, keep the seat warm, and be first in the queue the moment the grid finally cracks open for 2028. Sainz is not betting on Williams. He is betting on Verstappen moving, and buying himself the shortest possible wait until he does. And read it from the other side of the garage, because that one-year deal is a countdown for the team too. Williams are not just re-signing a driver, they are being handed 12 months to prove to Sainz that the ship can actually be turned around, that next year's car climbs off the 9th row and back toward the front. If it does, he stays, and the short deal becomes the start of something. If it does not, he is gone the instant a real seat opens, and Grove will have spent a season keeping a driver who was already halfway out the door. Both sides know the clock is running. That is why the number is 1 and not 2. So the graphic sits at 8 names for now. It moves, the second ink hits paper at Grove, and it does not stop moving there. Because the moment Sainz signs, the clock starts on Lawson, on Colapinto, on Alonso, on every driver stacked in that corridor waiting for the door at the top to finally swing open. As of this weekend, the most wanted free agent of the summer is about to re-sign for a team sitting 9th, on the shortest deal he can possibly get, and sell it as a win. And in this market, frozen solid behind one man who still has not decided, it really is one. Watch what happens after the ink dries. The Sainz signature does not close the market. It arms it. Lawson finds out whether Red Bull still want him or whether Solov takes his seat. Colapinto finds out whether Alonso is coming to push him out at Alpine. Aston Martin find out whether they are shopping for a race winner or promoting from the junior ranks. Every one of those calls has been waiting on the 2 names above them. Sainz and the one man Sainz himself is waiting on. Because the one signature that unlocks the whole grid still is not here. Verstappen has not decided. And until he does, the graphic stays at 8, the corridor stays full, and a 4-time Grand Prix winner sits in the 9th fastest car counting down his own 12 months. Watch Zandvoort. This is where it finally starts to move.